No, no. Oh, there go the dogs. Good Friday morning. And look at the frost on the ground. And welcome to Ice Age TV morning conversations that we have every morning now. And what the heck is that all about? What the heck have you done to your Ice Age channel of the internal combustion engine age has turned into just the talking and talking and talking, right? Well, I just like to talk, and one way I guess I got kind of found my channel was how crazy I am buying cars all the dang time. So weird. It's like this phone isn't operating right. It's like it has a slow motion thing. Come on back. And so the dogs now are not going the right way. Somebody's have to cut this out and get them back over here. Come on, let's go. Probably the deer. The deer hang out here at night. Come on. See this house here? Yeah, that's my home. And I moved here in 1991. And how old do you think that house is? And you know what, for me, it's just, oh my gosh, what's the age? What's the age of that house? And for some reason, I think that house was built in 34, but I think that just can't be. It has to be 1834. I think I'm delusional on my age. As I age, your memory and your, just lots of things start to change as you age. And believe it or not, there's a church. That's a house now, way up there. So that used to be a church. And the word is that this was the home for the parish, clergy, whatever you want to call it. That my home at one time, and I've heard these stories, is, believe it or not, Scout! So this is where the YouTube channel goes from the conversation to yelling at the dogs. Come on, let's get up here. Get in the barn. Get in the barn. You know the routine. Get in. Get in. So yeah, believe it or not, I had a lady. Oh, there he goes. He can do his business. I had a lady back in like the mid-90s come to my home, and she actually lived in Bethesda, Maryland. You could see a very successful woman. Her husband, I believe, was an electrician, and she told me stories about this property. She used to come out here when she was a little girl. Come on, Shinjo! Come on, get up here! Yeah, it's all about getting dogs to behave, right? Like us humans. So yeah, so a lady came here in my home, my property, and she drove the driveway. That was prior to me having a gate. Years ago, I didn't have a gate in the property, but eventually I had to gate it because I would come home from work, and I'm not embellishing here. There are people down there at that pond just fishing on my property. And I'd be like, what? I mean, I did have a gate. I should take that back. I had a gate, but it was always open. So, yeah. And these guys looked at me like I was the problem. I'm like, who allowed you to come on my property and fish? Like, we just drive around and see people's ponds and we go there and fish. I said, yeah, but wouldn't it be nice to ask first? I mean, I was like, you know what? I'm locking the damn property down. I had so many yahoos show up at this place. It's just unbelievable because of the street. There's a main road there, so it's a lot of exposure. But anyways, so the lady that came here, she used to come out here back in the early, back in like probably I would say the 1930s, and she claimed that maybe actually even earlier than that. She claimed this original barn burned down. So this is actually the second barn on this property. Yeah, what's the age of this barn? So the age of this barn, I believe, was rebuilt in the early 1900s. All right, so what's the conversation? So this is kind of a challenging conversation, age. For me, I'm just spitting out ideas. I'm sure you watch my channel. I'm sure sometimes the conversation's pretty intriguing and sometimes probably pretty mundane, but whatever. The challenge of talking to give somebody content for the excitement of the morning, right? Come on, pups. Let me get my covers back on, but just projects that I was going to put on my truck, and we didn't think it'd look right, so we didn't do it. So it's just on my door now. It's not been put on, just keeping it stretched out. Just get in the office and get the day going. I'm running behind. I don't know what this is. Here lately, I've been staying up so late. I don't even fall asleep like 2 in the morning. But actually, I sleep longer. And I've been waking up late. Yeah. But what's going on is It's the Heroes channel and American Heroes, AHC, I believe. It's a channel that I've become addicted. It's like the History Channel, and they call it the American History, or the American Heroes channel. It's a great channel to anybody here that wants to watch the history of the Civil War, the history of the lawless, the 1800s, early 1900s. And it's just, I can't turn the TV off because it's just so intriguing to watch all the content information from the Wild West to the early 1900s, the gangs, I should say, back when World War I was happening and New York City was being bombed at that time. The Germans had brought in, undercover Germans were building bombs, cigar bombs, to blow up ships because we were supplying Europe with crucial weapons to fight against Germany. And so the Germans were here infiltrating our country by doing really radical things. Great information. It was a great thing that I watched last night. I didn't even realize. I didn't even know that. So back in the early 1900s, the Germans were here trying to just create chaos. And this guy, Tooney, I'm sure some people are more abreast of history stuff. This guy, Tooney, who was a detective in New York, he was a bomb expert. He was one of the guys that uncovered the whole German regime in our sitting in our backyard. And he supposedly shut down the potential of the anthrax to kill all the horses, and that would eventually go to humans as well. Sabotage. So that was just great information. The age. And that's what I thought to myself. Wow, what age are we living in? You got the dark ages, you have the golden ages, we're of the information age. Everything's related to age. If you think about how we all kind of, you can look at me and say, what's the Iceman's age? What age were you when you got your driver's license? I was like 16 and a half years old when I got mine, or 16, if I remember correctly. And, so it's always kind of relates to the age. What age are you to be able to buy alcohol? What age are you to be able to vote? It's all age. And then we take it to the car side. What's an age? Aged vehicles seem to have a lot of value that were a niche vehicle, like a 1971 Hemi Cuda 426 convertible. That's an aged vehicle, but that vehicle has incredible value. You go to the 63 split back window Corvette that has incredible. I think it's 63 or 66. My brain, as you age, you change. As you age, you definitely change. And with there's so much information, just like your brain's like a computer. What's the age of your computer? Think about that. Somebody tells you they got a Mac that's 20 years of age. You think, yeah, wow. What are you running on that thing? Do you remember the DOS age of the 80s? So age. And then something was really intriguing yesterday I heard on the news, which was during the pandemic, they're now seeing that the age of a young person, they age 3 years faster. So you kind of think about that supposedly during the pandemic, the youth of our country advanced 3 years of aging. Wow. What created that? And how do they figure that number out? What they say is if you're on a spaceship, you go around the Earth fast enough, you're going to be younger. They say if you're a pilot and you fly all the time, you're actually younger from the age aspect. That it's kind of like you stop and the time kind of stops for a second or something like that. Or even if you're in motion all the time, you age slower. You slow down the aging process. It's all pretty radical stuff, but I've heard that many years ago. And then if you go to if you go on an airline, think about this: you get in a jet, you probably say to yourself, "What's the age of this jet? How old is this jet?" Right? And I sometimes would be like, "Ooh, wow, how old is this thing?" What's the age of the ship? So the age. What's the? Well, I call it the Ice Age. I call my YouTube channel the Ice Age because I think it's an internal combustion engine age, which I think will end up being like the dinosaur age, where it just goes away. So, yeah. So I mean, everything's related to age. You think, before Christ, BC age. And for me, I think what's very interesting for us, it seems like we are at the most advanced technology age of mankind. I mean, I would think that anybody watching my channel would have to agree that today we have the most knowledge and technology. I should say we have the most technology of age of any time in our lifetime. But at the same time, I think to myself, with all the technology age here upon our doorstep, it seems to be more confusion. Is this going to be labeled as the confusion age? I mean, right now, I just watched a 5-minute thing of Fox Business News where they just released the job reports. And we're already hearing about, the strong October, consumer spending, but the job reports is like 267,000 jobs were added, and in many sectors. So in the markets right now are, on one end, think that the recession's coming, but on the other end, now we're starting to think maybe the recession isn't coming. So it seems like the age of confusion. I mean, are we in the age of confusion? I really think we are, because there's so much information out there, and I've talked about this so many times. What can you take to truly believe makes sense and is factual? Or is it something driven for an agenda to change things that's agenda based to enrich the select few? And that's what I think the green agenda is more than ever. I truly believe the green agenda is driven to the greed of change to enrich the select few. I'm sorry. Anybody out there that's all over this green agenda stuff, I'm just sorry. As an individual, it's why do we have an age? I mean, it's like, think like this: 2035 is a huge goal now for the world to ban ICE vehicles. That's the age of elimination of the ice age. I mean, why is that number? Why is it 2035? I mean, why couldn't it be 2050, 2040, 2060? Where's the number coming from? I mean, what person can sit down and they have a calculator in their head and they get on a computer and they factor all these variables that they believe that number is the correct age into having all this radical change? And so, and I was just talking about the markets, the confusion age. I mean, there's people now saying, you just heard a while back that recession was imminent. Now, with the strong numbers we're showing this country, people are still buying stuff. And just yesterday, Jerome Powell, the Fed guy, is telling everybody we're probably going to slow down raising interest rates because we think things are in pretty good shape. Wow, as the inflation is not stopping. Inflation's not stopping. I mean, even for me, I am taken back that the car market's still, for the most part, pretty strong. Even though more than ever people are saying that Carvana is going to go down. Carvana's done. Carvana created the new way of buying cars to a degree, but in the end, Carvana is going to be kicked to the curb because they're just not going to survive. I mean, there's so many people, like 4,000 people have been laid off from Carvana. So they just feel, many people feel there's no way with Carvana showing 500 million losses quarter after quarter that they're going to be able to survive. There's just no way that the families eventually raise their hand and shut the bankrupt operation. And here locally, the car tower where I bought my 4Runner last year is empty. Is that facility even, still operating up there? I mean, I know they relocated the Carvana near the airport, Dulles Airport out here where I live. That's the guy that delivered my gold Challenger. He claims he's got a brand new facility out here. So, I mean, but they made it sound like they have both facilities. I have no idea. But the speculators are going to paint a picture in the car market that Carvana's gone. The speculators in the market are saying the used car market's done. I mean, it's a constant information, but then you kind of scratch your head that, but is it factual? I mean, for motorcycles, the motorcycle dealers are not having to give away motorcycles. The motorcycle dealers are not struggling. Now, don't get me wrong. I say this all the time. The fake economy created the fake economy. We're back to the good old days where it is what it is. But the thing is, it isn't like I'm hearing from people that I know that sell motorcycles and sell cars that the lights have turned off. They have not told me this. They've told me, yeah, the market's changed. It's a different market, but they're still selling vehicles. A good car sales guy, a good car dealership will sell 20 to 25 cars a month. During the pandemic, they were selling 30 to 40. Now they're back to selling 20 to 25 cars a month. So they're not making the money they were, but it was a fake economy. So it seems to me the age of wisdom. I mean, are we in the age of wisdom? Or are we in the age of dummies? Yeah, let's not even go down that road. I mean, think about this. We have a sitting president of age that I believe is one of. I mean, I'm not saying he's the only, but one of the oldest sitting presidents in our country, I think. Wow. So I guess people like age. I mean, hey, you like aged wine, right? I mean, a lot of things that are aged people really want. And that's something I thought about is more than ever, people are chasing for the aged ICE vehicles. Because I think a lot of people see what I see is, yeah, the heyday of the ICE vehicle is slowly going away. And especially what's really interesting to me is the Hellcats really aren't that aged, but their values are increasing substantially. And we all know that the 2023, next year at this time, it's over. It's hard to believe that just a year from now that pretty much the Dodge Hellcat run is done. Run and done. And I can still remember the summer 2014, which now that's over. That's even hard for me to believe it. The Hellcat, when it's all said and done, the Hellcat had close to a decade run. Wow. As we all age, and that's what I think of myself all the time is, boy, 10-year spans. Anybody here watch my channel that's older, you can say to yourself, I can remember just 10 years ago very clearly and blah, blah, blah. And here it is 10 years later. And then I think to myself, wow, 10 years from now, what's my age? Yeah, even though supposedly is mankind living longer? Are we aging better? But when you look at the fentanyl deaths in this country, of all the young people dying, and a young person to me is a 30 or 40-year-old person. You go 100 plus years ago, 200 years ago, 30, 40 years old, that wasn't considered a young person. So for us, what's the average life expectancy in our country now for a man? Is it like 77 years, 78 years? The woman always seemed to outlive the man. Isn't that something? You know how many widows there are in this country? And wealthy widows? It's beyond believable. And for the men, what is that all about? The woman is a stronger woman. If anybody doesn't understand that, yeah, you're kidding yourself. Happy wife, happy life. Unhappy wife, unhappy life. But the woman's just designed differently from man. And that's why we're so different. I mean, for us, as you age, you just start to see, more than ever, how the man and women, we're just so opposite. We are so programmed. Men they're just borderline stupid. I mean, the way men operate and how they do things, that's what the woman is just so much more of a critiquing, they just seem to have more of a reality type of, processing information. Men just have this way of just, yeah, whatever. We just do goofy things. And the woman just, stands back and just looks at us men and just, they just can't process in their brain how we process things in our brain. I mean, that's the truth. If you're a man that's been around long enough and you see what men do, then the men always do. Okay, so I'll give you an example of just how men are. Think about this. My wife, and this was back in 2004. My wife's pregnant with our child. You see riding around motorcycles and drive fancy cars and sing and hum and do all the things that she does. So when she was in my wife's stomach, I went out and I did the stupidest thing ever a guy could do. So think about this. Your wife is like a month from being, having labor, right? So we already had, like, I've always had tons of dogs. I mean, I had up to 7 dogs just like 5 years ago. So if I can think back what dogs I had, I think I had I had 4 dogs at that time. I think I had 4 dogs. I just have to try to go back. So here's the thing. One of my dogs, my favorite dog, my Dalmatian, he lost his collar. And so I had to go to this. I went up to the Petco up the street here one morning in my Corvette, my 2004 Corvette Z06. It was the anniversary edition paint scheme with the blue and gray stripes. Man, I got to get a picture of that car. So I had bought, plus I just bought that car. My wife's pregnant, buy a Corvette, blah, blah, blah. But I had a Corvette before that. So, but anyways, so I go to Petco or PetSmart, whatever the hell, Petco, I think. And I go in there to get a leash or get a collar for my Dalmatian. And they have the rescue dog day there. And so when I walk in, there's this little black dog. It was like a little white part of his muzzle. And it's just the coolest looking dog. And I walk by, I'm like, wow, this is a really cool dog. So I go and get my collar and come back. And I look at the lady, and then I said, hey, what's the deal? They said, well, $100 for dog, $100 for donation. And he's all vaccinated for the first, X amount of weeks. And I'm like, wow, that's a deal. I said, I want him. So I brought home this little black dog. So now I've got home from the pet store. And here's my wife, right? This is like late April, early May, and my wife's due like late May, early June for our child, Julia. And so here's the thing. I get home, and I should have a picture. I got a picture of me holding the dog in my hand. I can't find it right away. But anyways, my wife looks at me like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm thinking, what's the big deal? So, and my wife's just like beyond believable that we're going to have a child. And you just brought a puppy into the house? So now, as the man, I'm just thinking, what's the freaking big deal? Okay, about 7 o'clock that night, I start thinking to myself, wow, what if this puppy barks and cries all night long? yeah. Can you even imagine? So here's my wife, carry the kid. If you're a man, has a wife and pregnant, you get all this conversation. So it wasn't like 7 or 8 o'clock that evening. It hits me like a brick in the head. It's like, oh my gosh, if this dog cries and whimpers all night long, my wife's going to go nuts. Wow, how stupid can I be, right? Yeah, that's the things we do as men. So this is no lie. That dog was crate trained from that rescue. Oh my gosh, that dog was incredible. I could put that dog in that cage at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm not embellishing here, and get up at 6 in the morning, and that dog didn't do anything in the cage. And I would let him out, and he'd go do his business outside. And that dog didn't bark, whimper, nothing. I mean, beyond believable, right? Because, oh my gosh, my wife would have every right to wake up in the middle of the night and whack me over the head. I mean, I've got dog stories you can't believe. I mean, I got another story where I got a dog that I found. I found a dog in my yard, and my wife woke up in the middle of the night, and that dog was between her and us. I'm not lying. I brought the dog in. And the dog started crying, so I just threw him in bed with us. And my wife wakes up in the middle of the night, and there's this unknown dog sleeping between the two of us, right? All right. Anyways, the age of innocence. What's that conversation, right? The age of dumbness. I think as we all get older, I think as you get older, you get dumber. Yes, I said that to you. Gave you an example of when you're a kid, you look up to your parents being the smartest things in the world. You question that in your teenage years, all right? By the time in your 20s, you kind of come to respect them and realize, yeah. But by the time you hit my age, you understand your parents really were stupid because you look at yourself in the mirror and what all the stupid things you did. Yeah, that's kind of my running saying. Anyways, just kind of thought I'd throw the age thing out where I think we're in the age of confusion. I think that this is going to go down as the age of confusion because there's just so much information. Even the analysts are talking this morning on Fox Business News. Some people are like, we watch Fox News. I watch Fox Business News. I like to watch the business. I like to see what's going on in the markets and hear people's perspectives. So yeah, I watch Fox Business News. I don't watch Fox News. I don't do it. I don't watch it. Whoever does, whatever, I don't care. I think some people think all my content and my views in life, and for me, I'm just trying to radiate what seems to make sense. Just can I kind of be just like common sense of what makes sense. I mean, it just seems to me that it's a good idea to have lawful society. Lawlessness, I don't think that works out too well. And so, but it gets all radical. I think we should have control of our borders, but yet if you're leaning one way, you'll tell me I'm a mean person. Another person will be like, right. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I don't think it has to do anything with what news channel you have to watch. I just think just common sense. That's the way I try to look at things, which just kind of seems to make sense. Because I'm of the age, I believe, of the wisdom to look around me and witness what I've witnessed for 59 years. And what's that all about? Ask a woman her age, and that's offensive. I mean, come on. You ask a woman her age? Ooh, man, don't do that. I don't care. Yeah, and what's the other thing is how some people, they look older than they are, or they look younger than they are. Like the baby face of the 1900s, the gangster guy. Why they call him babyface? Well, because I'm sure anybody that said, what did the guy look like that came in, the gangster guy with a machine gun robbing the bank? And people probably, he had a baby face. So that's where he got his name. How long did that last, doing that type of routine? Or John Dillinger, and the list goes on and on and on. Cool stuff on that American Hero channel. It's addicting. I started watching that last night, like at 9 o'clock. I couldn't turn it off till like 2 a.m. But then I wake up this morning, like, doggone it, I'm just staying up way too late. Yeah, so I'm running late, right? Yeah, you're the guy that, hey, sorry, boss, I'll be there any minute. I'll be right in. So, anyways, yeah. But going back to the age, how some people look so young or look so old. What's that all about? All right, I gotta go. I'm out of time. I gotta get my day going. The age. I'm thinking to myself right now, wow, 1 year, another year has aged. I mean, wow, it's beyond believable that it's December. In another year, I'm going to be of aged another year. You've aged another year. Wow. But all the big personalities try not to age. They try to buy all the cosmetic things and all the surgeries and all the, and they try to buy themselves more time not to age. Yeah. Good luck on that. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching my channel. What's happened today? So today could be a surprise day of another thing I've done, but I don't know. So stay tuned. You just may be part of another surprise. Stay tuned. What could it be, right? Have a great day. Be safe. And